All right. I think we are live right now. I believe I'm going to see if I can get the old chat up. There it is. There's the chat. Nice. Yeah, it's freaking almost 2023. Oh, man. I cannot sleep. Too early to sleep on the night before the last night, I suppose. So, holy smokes. 10 out of 10. Nice, Brian. Man, I'll tell you what, I do want to talk about. Well, one, I had an awesome day. I don't know, you may know a YouTube solo sailor named Sam Holmes. Well, I reached out to him the other day, and Sam, I said, hey man, you wanna, if we're ever in the same place, you wanna do podcasts sometime? And he asked me where I was, and I told him, and he said, I'm actually driving through that way right now. And he swung by the boat, drove out of his way to come in and sit down with me, and he had no idea who I was or what I do as far as sailing goes and stuff. And he came on the podcast, freaking awesome dude, just like in his videos. And yeah, we chatted solo sailing for a good like hour or so, and yeah, freaking awesome, man. It was, like, I've watched some of his videos for like years now, and I don't know, it was pretty cool. So definitely had a pretty epic day today. I got to meet somebody who, I don't know, I mean, in the YouTube world, I'd say he's pretty famous. You know, it's just, I see his videos up all the time, so that was pretty cool. But what I'm not, Sam is amazing. That's awesome. Yeah, I know, right? It's so cool. He took a little bit of video up on Mighty Sparrow and stuff. Like, it was funny because I was telling him about one of the trips that I damaged the bowsprit and how it took me like 75 days to get back. And he was like, "Dang, that's a long time to be out." And I was like, "Well, I did a trip around the world. I was out 271 days." And he's just like, "Huh?" And the conversations just went on and on. So it was really cool too, because he does a lot of that Hobie sailing stuff, which is pretty epic. And I don't know, I think it's so cool. It's basically what I learned to sail on, was a Hobie 16. But I gotta pull up. Somebody made a great comment that if I go. There it is. Yeah, if I go on to the YouTube channel, I can actually see what the heck's going on my live stream. Nice. Okay. Because I want to talk about, not me, but I want to talk about Elliot Lee. Or not Elliot Lee, Elliot, oh wait, can you see that? You can't. Alright, I gotta figure out how to do this one. Display capture. Oh, there it is. Alright, sweet. Oh, there's like a delay. Aha! So, I don't know if everybody's following the Golden Globe at all, but Elliot, shoot, I can't even remember his last name right now. Is Elliot Smith? Dang it, I'm a moron. Elliot something or other. Anyway, the last American who's left standing in the Golden Globe. This is windy right here, and this is his position, right where that little 10 knot thing is. He's doing like 9.9 knots. And that big monster thing up above him, I'm pretty sure, is the remnants of, if not still, a named storm out there in the Indian Ocean. I'll zoom out so you can see kind of where the heck this is. So you got Australia, and you got Africa, and he's basically in the middle of one of the scariest oceans on this planet. Basically the Southern Ocean border with the Indian Ocean. And this is showing wind gusts. And I think they're right now up in this thing. Yeah, it's gusting up to 50. So it's ugly. It's a really ugly system, and it's like a farm system. So he again is just about right about here in this calm patch. And this freaking thing, I mean, look at this. It's slowly going to creep, and then it's going to actually basically run right down on top of him. Just like that. Hopefully he'll be able to at least get maybe in front of it, or maybe he might actually turn around and head to the southwest, because that's ugly. But I mean, like, no matter what, he's like in the worst place you could ever think of wanting to be, and he's got a damaged bowsprit. So, I mean, his boat is a cutter rig, so he's got the use of a staysail and the mainsail. And I don't know, maybe he can use a little bit of that forestay for like small sails. I'm not really sure. But basically, he's in sort of a messed up boat, and it sucks. It's going to take him a while. He's, I think, trying to get to Perth or Fremantle, Australia, which is right on the corner there. Dude, I feel for this guy. Like, I think about, look at this, look at these. Oh my God, look at these systems, dude. This is all wind gusts, so, you know, you never know. But I think about my time spent down there in the Indian Ocean was just like totally nerve-wracking. You were just looking over your shoulder the whole time. I had Cyclone Irving come down and sweep down from the Indian Ocean proper down towards the south, and that was where I had my first ever knockdown. I cut in front of the storm trying to outrun it, kind of like an idiot. They say, you know, you never want to cross the T on a storm, which basically means, you know, get onto the wrong side of it. And I was so fed up with sort of the light and fickle winds in the Indian Ocean, ended up just going for it, and kind of paid the price for sure. But it wasn't. I don't know. Could have been way worse than it actually was. It's a 15 foot sea anchor. 15 foot sea anchor. Huh. But yeah. So I don't know. It was crazy. And I feel for this guy. I mean, you know, I was out there in the North Atlantic and pretty busted up, but at least in the North Atlantic, if everything goes wrong, you end up in your life raft, you're probably going to get rescued. You know, I was never more than 500 miles away from either Bermuda or the East Coast. So if everything really went bad, I was going to be all right, probably. Down this far, I mean, luckily, he's not just out there sailing this route like on his own. He's part of the Golden Globe race, so Don McIntyre has definitely got, I'm sure, his eyes peeled, making sure if anything does go wrong, he'll be able to get down there and help him out and stuff. But man, I mean, talk about being in the middle of nowhere and just right in the thick of it. Oy. That's scary. I don't even know what to think. It really is. It's just a bad place to be. But you know, so far he's done pretty well in this race, so I think he'll probably pull through all of it. But who knows, man? It is crazy. But yeah, I don't know. Let's take a look at the weather where the other races are. See, most of the other guys are all guys and girl. There's only like 5 or 6 people left in this race. But they're basically underneath Australia and headed to New Zealand and just about entering the Pacific proper. But they're going to have some ugly weather. Not too bad, but could get really bad. That's the thing about the Southern Ocean. You never know. Oh, look at that. Oof. Right there underneath New Zealand. See, that's nasty right there. Let's see what that is. 60? Yep, 60 knots. 60 knots sustain. Well, I guess that's wind gusts, but man, oh man, that's crazy. I would not want to be doing that. Oh, I'm going to put a little something on the background here Dun, 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 dun. I'm still trying to sort of mess and sort this whole thing out. ISS. What's the ISS? International Space Station? Oh, you mean you're talking about Elliot? Yeah, I know. Actually, it's kind of funny you bring that up because the International Space Station's when you're out in a place like he is, the closest human beings will get to you is typically the ISS flying by because they're like 200 miles up or something. Let's put a nice little background on, and I'll try and put it on. Let's see if that works.
The lovely sunset.
That all the way off.
On a placid sea.
Let's see if that works. Dun, dun,
Oh,
dun,
man.
dun. Yeah, there we go.
It finally happened. We got pecan.
Oh, isn't that pleasant out
no
there?
wind sail.
No wind at all. Sails down.
Got still up there, sort of keeping things steady.
It's never all that fun. Oh, it's all skippy, huh? Oh my. Point Bravo.
Woo!
There we go. Look at that. Clean cut, fresh. Gave myself a haircut when I was up there.
Stunningly gorgeous
like
out
that.
here.
It's crazy. All right.
I don't know
shut
how
that
long
one down.
this is going to go on for.
Oh,
I
man.
think only the next, like...
Doink. Oh. It's crazy. I can't believe we're almost into 2023. Absolutely nuts. Ay, ay, ay. There he is right there. I'm going to zoom out. Yeah, so there's like that guy. Here, let me pull this up, make sure you guys are seeing it. I swear I will get better at this. Anxiety in the middle of the ocean. No, not really. You know, I get this sort of weird sort of high about when I look on the chart and I see the my path lead right out to the middle. I don't know. It's just something about it that it's pretty cool. I really do enjoy it. And it kind of feels like it's my own little piece of the world when I'm out there, which is really nice. Because it really does, it does feel like that. Oh, there is a delay. Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to technically get all this stuff. I'm a little slow. Cheers, everybody that's already tuned in and stuff. Say handsome man on the Barry. Hey, easy guy. Oh, man. Well, I did in Mighty Sparrow news. It does not look like we are going to be able to venture out into the sea until probably the springtime, and it's probably only going to be to try and head back up to Maine, mostly because getting all these parts and everything sorted is kind of pretty tough and pretty expensive. And I'm slowly getting little things, like I got an AIS aerial, and there's a solar panel on the way, but we're working on hopefully getting some of the gallows and then some of the teak and all that sort of stuff, but we will see. But yeah, so I'm gonna throw in the towel here for any continuation of this last trip, and I'm gonna head up to Michigan, go and see my bro for like a month, and try and get some work done via some of the books that I've been working on, and then all this videos and all that sort of stuff. And to tell you, it kind of sucks. Like, when I first got back to land, obviously I wanted to stay here, because I was like, thank God I'm off that terrible ocean. But then, a week or so later, I'm already sort of itching to sort of get back and get back out there. But yeah, just, it's one of those things. You can't do exactly what you want all the time, so it's understandable. But yeah, so I don't know. I still haven't figured out what the heck I'm going to do this spring, but probably end up sailing the boat back up to Maine and then haul it out, work for the boatyard for at least half the summer, and try and get everything fixed up there. But yeah, check this out. So this is the Golden Globe Race 2020 website, which is really good. They had Don McIntyre, the guy who sort of started all this, does a great job. But Guy Wales, he's back there, or Waltis. I don't know how to pronounce Waits. Guy Waits. I think he is in the Chichester class. Yeah, it says it right there. So he had to actually stop, and then he restarted. This guy abandoned his boat right there. Elliott Smith, that's what his name is. He's right there in the danger zone. Ian's up here. And is Ian still in it? Yeah, okay. So it's basically Ian, Jeremy, Michael. This is Bernard Motissier, his old track. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only six people left in this race. Holy smokes. That is bananas. How many did they start out with? Oh man, they started out with like 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. They started with 16, so 10 of them are out. It's one of those races where, the only reason I could ever even fathom doing a race like that would be that this sort of race can turn into one of those events where it's like the last man standing, or the last sailor standing, the last sailor floating, I guess, because the weather can be so bad down there that it just wipes everybody out. And if you got the toughest boat and you can just somehow manage to weather the awful conditions down there for 4 months, it wouldn't matter if it took you 300 days. If you're the last one there, you just have to complete the course. And that's how Sparrow and I would win that. Because there's no way we're going to be able to beat any of these guys. They're probably going to finish, 200 days or something. It would take me at least, knowing what I know now, it would take me at least like 250 days. I might be able to knock 21 days, 3 weeks off of the thing. Andrew Allen from Maine. Hello, sir. What part of Maine? I like to call Rockland my summer retreat, where I carry heavy objects in a boatyard back and forth, and, that's all I really do. I'm the low man. And I kind of like that. It's not too bad. Tell you what, it's a cool spot, and it looks like this guy Simon's actually in pretty close. They put like a race mark or whatever down here on this little dot. And these little islands are called the snares. There's 2 sets of them. There's a couple rocks down there, and then there's the big formation. And when I did my trip around the world, I got hit with easterly winds and was able to, I couldn't make any headway into the Pacific. And so I headed south about 20 miles to go and see this island. And I sailed literally right alongside this end down here, back and forth for about like 4 hours, just looking at the birds and the seals and all that sort of stuff. These are gnarly old rocks. Like, this is big. I'd say it's like 400 feet tall or something. But it's this just crazy rock outcrop. And I think a lot of ships have wrecked down in this area. But it's sort of like the gate. The old clipper ships, so you got the snares there. And then the next chunk of land south is this one, which is Auckland Island, which definitely has had some serious wrecks on it. But the old clipper ships used to basically, they'd load up with spices and all that sort of stuff from the East Indies, and then they'd rip down and go in between these 2 sets of islands, and then they were in the Pacific proper, all the way to Cape Horn after that. And man, oh man, I couldn't even imagine. Those guys would just be racing back because they knew whoever got back first was going to make more money off of all the spices and teas and all that sort of stuff. So crazy. MDI. I don't know what MDI is. Oh, holy smokes. But yeah, so I don't know. I figured I'd come on the and do like a little bit of a live stream tonight, just to sort of check out the old Golden Globe. They have to go in all the way in to I think it's called Storm Bay. This is on Tasmania, and they got to pass through that gate. This is in Hobart, and Hobart must be just absolutely crazy right now because they just finished the Sydney to Hobart race. So they got to go in there, drop off all their film, do a couple of interviews, and then they go right back out. It's crazy. That's also where Randall Reeves, when he attempted the figure eight the first time, I think it was the year before I set out, he ended up, or it might have been the same year actually, he ended up getting knocked down so bad in the Indian Ocean it broke some of his portholes, and he ended up having to pull into Hobart. Yeah, for sure. Oh man, that's Sam Holmes right there. Insane, very bookbuster, man. Nice. I think I got a new buddy. Oh man, pulling in there would be rough. Yikes. But yeah, man. Oof, I still can't get over Elliot. He's over there, man. What an awful position he's in. I can't even well, I guess I can imagine, but just thinking of his mindset right now, being in this place, and I'm sure if he wanted to, he could probably abandon everything, but the pressures that he's probably dealing with, because he probably just wants nothing more than to just be done with this whole thing. But at the same time, there's a pretty big, I don't know. I know there's definitely always a feeling in me I don't ever want to get towed in. I don't ever want to abandon the boat. You want to be able to sail it back in no matter what. And these guys definitely had to prove they knew how to. They have to prove that they can do a jerry rig sort of system on their boat. So if they don't have a mast, they can still, produce something that will allow them to sail all the way back in and all that stuff using the boom or spinnaker pole or whatever they have. I'm not too sure, but Mount Desert Island. That sounds kind of neat. But I don't know. It's just so far out there. I mean, if you look at a globe, you really get a good sense of just how isolated this kid is. He's only in his 20s too. It's freaking gnarly. But at the same time, you think of that, and then you try and think of a guy like Robin Knox Johnson, who also in his 20s went out and set sail on a wooden boat, pretty much just like Mighty Sparrow, and was isolated beyond isolated out there when he did his trip. And he was able to forge through some pretty terrible stuff. He had some pretty bad weather because he was down in the Indian Ocean really early. He got knocked flat. He didn't have any water. He had to catch all his drinking water because his tanks got all poisoned when he got knocked down. He was securing this part of the boat, the cabin, trunk, and all that sort of stuff because that got shifted. He went through some major stuff. Plus, then he lost his self-steering, and he just kept going. So there's the opportunity, I guess, when you're out at sea to sort of make a heroic effort to get back to land or to just continue on and everything. But, it's not like even Robin Knox Johnson was probably well, I'm going to do it. He's probably freaking terrified and, probably broke down plenty of times, crying and all that sort of stuff. I mean, I've been there for sure. The ocean is just such an intimidating place sometimes. It really just can beat you down to a point where you're just completely well, I don't know what you're gonna do with me, but I have no power out here. It's a pretty crazy feeling, And I don't know why anybody would want to go and put themselves through that, but I seemingly can't stop doing that, which is a little strange, I guess. That'd be the trip right there. Go from the U.S. all through the South Pacific, north of Australia, into the Indian Ocean, Madagascar, all the way down, the Seychelles and the Maldives. Oh my gosh. There's so many. I still think Joshua Slocum's route is the most epic thing you could even imagine. Oh, look at that guy. He's sailing back. That's got to be a bummer. You get all this stuff sorted out to do this race, and then I don't know if stuff broke or whatever. Oh, okay, yeah, issues with his mass base. Barnacle infested hull. Wow. Where did you have your knockdown on your around the world? I had one knockdown in the middle of the Indian Ocean, just past Amsterdam Island, and it was on the leading edge of Cyclone Irving, and I was being stupid. The waves had built up, but not that big, and they weren't really breaking all that much. And I thought we had outrun the storm, but we hadn't, and I was down below trying to get some sleep, and the next thing I knew, the boat's on its side, and I'm getting sort of flung all over the place. So not a great situation, but lesson learned on that one, at least a little bit. But the nice part about that, when you do the round the world stuff and you're in the Southern Ocean, the boat has to be so insanely bulletproof as far as where you stow everything, and there's not even hatch covers and things like that down below. Everything has to be either bolted or lashed or tied down, so that the floorboards, they're screwed in so they can't come up. The water tanks have strapping and then also beams holding them. The fridge is all locked down tight. There's no room for error. And on this last trip, I don't know, I think I just got sloppy or lazy or overconfident. It was, pretty much all my fault as far as what happened. And I couldn't, there's nothing I could do about the stuff on deck that got ripped away. But down below in here, the absolute chaos that ensued, that was definitely my fault. I could have locked things up a lot better. But the other knockdown was in the Pacific here. Somewhere where my cursor is there. It was March 17th, and we were in a heck of a gale. You're already starting to make your southerly turn down towards Cape Horn, and I say we in this instance, not talking about Sparrow and I, but the Volvo boats. Were on their leg from Hong Kong to Rio or whatever it was that year, and they were about, I think, far away were they? 100 miles, 200 miles, something like that, south of me, and they were in a more intense area of the low, and they lost John Fisher. One of the crew members on one of the boats fell overboard, and they couldn't get to him, and he was lost at sea. It was crazy. And I'm out there in this old boat, good old Sparrow, totally oblivious to the problems they were going through, because I was going through my own. But that night, we got walloped by a bunch of waves, but one of them hit us just almost totally broadside, flipped us on our side, flung stuff out of my nav station, just like the dividers and the dividers and the parallels and my logbook and stuff, just flung it. It was crazy. A lot of water came in too, but it was not because I didn't, not because I was overpowered or anything. I was underpowered. And I actually had to go on deck. Luckily, the moon was up. But I had to go on deck, and I had to raise the mainsail. I was running essentially under bare poles at that time. So just a storm jib up forward, tiny little thing. And I sheet it hard in the middle. And all I'm trying to do is keep it so my bow won't round up, and it just keeps pointing with the wind and waves. And the pressure just on the mast alone keeps us going. And it was probably blowing like 50, somewhere around there, sustained. So it was hairy. Like, it was a pretty ugly situation. And it had been blowing like that for a bit. And essentially, as the night went on, the winds started to decrease a little bit. And I think when they got to the 40-knot range, that was when we started getting knocked really hard. And it was just, these big breakers would come up, and we couldn't sort of surf away and skate away like we were before. And so I actually had to go on deck and raise the triple reefed mainsail while I was heading downwind in the moonlight. And the ocean looked absolutely insane. Just breaking waves and just big rollers, and everything's angry, and it's loud, and it's windy. And it took me like 45 minutes to an hour to get this thing up. And the triple reefed main, I'm only raising like 15 feet of sail, if that. I mean, it's tiny on this boat. And it was just like a couple inches at a time, because there's no way I could turn into the wind, because I wouldn't be able to get any headway because I didn't have the mainsail up. And so I was kind of stuck in this bad situation. But I was able to get it up eventually, which was cool. Glad to see you're enjoying the GGR. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love it. The GGR is cool. It's neat to watch, regardless of whether or not I would ever do that race or anything like that. I'm not one for racing too much. I like just cruising out there and stuff. But it's so fun to watch, but sometimes it's like a nail biter for me when I switch over to windy and I look at the weather forecast and I see these guys down there. Like, I can relate to exactly what they're dealing with, and it's scary. Like, I know, because they don't have the ability to check their weather. They've essentially just got a barometer, and they can look at the clouds, and that just, woof. I got hats off to them, because that is, like, when I went around, I could download the weather, not all the time, and it wasn't very easy. My system was not very good back then, but every 3 or 4 days, I'd typically be able to get a weather report, and it'd only be for a small area, so I couldn't see the whole big picture, but at least it gave me a little heads up for each one of these low pressure systems that was coming around. So I don't know. It's super crazy these guys are doing. But at the same time, and I'm not criticizing them at all or anything, but I do know that if a really bad weather system is bearing down on any of these guys, the race committee lets them know. So it's sort of like they know that. And if you know that if there's something really bad coming up, somebody's going to tell you about it, it kind of makes the whole idea of not being able to check the weather kind of, I don't know, doesn't really make sense, right? That's why, Matt Rutherford and I were talking about it the other day, and it is, for him and for me as well, a lot of the deterrent for this race and stuff is just the fact there's so many rules. Like, really, it should just be like, all right, August 19th, 2023, we're all meeting up in the Bay of Biscay, and that's where we start, Cape Finisterre. Go around the world, and whoever gets back here first wins. And there's no race committee. There's no rescue. There's no nothing. Just like the first iteration of the race. And I guess, there's nothing stopping people from doing that. Anybody can. Nobody can say, well, I guess maybe there's some liability or something. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. I'm kind of running out of things to talk about off the top of my head. If anybody's got any questions or anything like that, feel free to answer them, throw them out in the old chat and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still definitely a little hyped up on being able to have Sam on the podcast today. That was super cool. So weird to watch his videos, because once he said he would do it, that was last night, and so obviously I went and watched like 8 of his videos, so I feel like I was hanging out with him for like hours and sailing with him and all that sort of stuff, and then all of a sudden he's sitting across for me. So it was kind of hard. It was like, it's kind of weird, you know, to watch somebody on a screen for that long and then boom, they're right there live with you. But I don't know, definitely super, super cool. And a really big day. You know, he's I think every other person I've ever had on the podcast, almost, it's their first time ever doing a podcast. As anybody that listens to it knows, it's basically everyday people who do extraordinary things, because pretty much everybody's got some crazy stories and life experiences and all that, and even if they don't realize it, they're pretty interesting stuff. So I love just chatting with anybody about almost anything, and I'm trying to branch the podcast out a little bit, away from sailing. Not always talking about adventuring. I mean, I think that's always going to be the core of the podcast, but, you know. Do I have a family? Well, I have 2 brothers and a sister-in-law, and then I have 2 parents who are still alive and well, that I was just visiting down in Florida. I got back the day before yesterday, but no, I don't have my own family. It's hard. It's hard to maintain even a relationship with like my girlfriend, or I don't technically have a girlfriend right now. I got to see a girl that I had seen in the past this last week, which was really, really cool. But yeah, it's hard to maintain some of these relationships when you set sail for who knows how long. I mean, this last voyage was supposed to be 5 months. The one around the world was 9 months. It was crazy. It's a connection with Dominica. Yes, Dominica. You notice the flag right behind me. Dominica's just, I think it's pretty much the coolest island in the Caribbean. It's very untouched. It's not super developed. It's mostly mountainous rainforest area. The people are absolutely epic. I've got some really good friends down there. They've got like 300 waterfalls. The food is unbelievable. You can walk down the street and pick mangoes and grapefruits and avocados right off the trees, almonds. It's just insane. It's like this sort of paradise jungle landscape. And if you like hiking and you like swimming, snorkeling, you can swim with sperm whales out there if they can find them. It's just epic. And the beaches are like black sand, most of them. I don't know. It's a crazy cool place. And they have one of the last Carib Indian reservations where people actually live and do the same stuff they've always done there. It's really, I think they're the Carib Indians. Pretty sure. I don't know. It's just absolutely, it's stunning. It's amazing. And most people don't even know it exists. They all think I'm talking about the Dominican Republic, which is over there by Haiti and Cuba. But Dominique is epic. I've anchored out there. You go down there for like a month at a time. Oh my gosh. You don't ever have to like go and fill your tanks up with water because the rain just dumps down. Every day you get a bunch of little rain squalls. It's so nice because it's hot down there, obviously. You can see the Southern Cross in the sky at night, the stars. Oh man, it's so cool. Must have missed the update on the boom gallows cap rail Dodger repair. Oh, I haven't done any of that. No updates as of yet, except I'm slowly acquiring the parts that I'm going to need to put it all together. But outside of the teak for the cap rail and the gallows, and the solar panel's on its way. I just want to get off this power grid. You have to pay for shore power, and it's expensive. And if I get one solar panel on this boat, I don't need to be plugged in, and I can save, like, solar panel costs $200. I can save $80 a month just by having one solar panel on here. It's crazy. Kristen has weather facts working. Your videos are impressive. Oh, thank you. Oh, Kristen has a working Weatherfax. Really? Oh, are they allowed to have those? Oh, that's good. Huh. I always figured too, like if they see a ship, they could probably get a weather report because they would have been able to do that back in the day. Although they ain't gonna see any ships down in the Southern Ocean. I saw 4 from Cape of Good Hope to Cape Horn, and 2 were under New Zealand fishing boats, and the other one was at Cape Horn. If you did upsize, say 43, 46 range, do you have one in mind? You know, honestly, I don't really know. I mean, there's so many options out there when it comes to boats, and I've always thought that if I can figure out a way to make a living out of sort of what I do, what I'd like to do is upgrade from Sparrow, which is 32, but more like a 36-foot boat as far as the interior goes. I mean, it's pretty big. Let me, I'll do like a slow pan here. This might be a mistake. I'm gonna do like super slow pan, so you guys can all just see the boat. It's pretty clean, not super clean, but pretty clean. It's pretty big, you know. It's there's the old podcast studio. Turning back around. I don't know if that was cool or not. Maybe. We'll see. But yeah, that's the boat. It's, oh, there we go, because I'm looking at it through this. I don't know, it's just like a roomy boat for a 32-footer. If I could, I'd like to have a boat big enough where I could have not only myself, but maybe 3 other people on board and get the boat out on the West Coast and then take the trade winds route and bring it back to the East Coast going around the world. I think that would be awesome. And do it for, 3 years, 4 years, something like that. But it takes a lot of money. Sparrow, the West sails are kind of hard to, you don't get a whole lot of money for these boats, and as much as I would never want to sell Sparrow, I think eventually I'm not going to be able to use it in the way that it's intended, which is offshore adventuring. So I'll want to basically sell it to somebody who wants to do that, and but I don't know. I think I would probably look for a boat in the 40 to 45 foot range. Just because I wouldn't want to be, I think there's going to be a point where the solo sailing's got to sort of stop, and then you start sailing with other people. It's like a whole new sort of chapter and everything. I mean, when I add it up, I think I've been out at sea. I've spent like 600 days or more out at sea by myself over the years, and that's a long time, and I've enjoyed it. Not all of it, but most of it. And I don't know, it's one of those things where how much time do you need to spend out there? I mean, I'm not like John Sanders, who that Australian guy who's gone around the Southern Ocean solo like 11 times or something like that. He once did a trip where he did it in 2 different directions, and he did 3 laps of the Southern Ocean. Just bananas. It was 45,000 miles or something like that. He was out there for 600 something days. Can't even imagine that. But yeah, as far as the boats go, I don't know. I've always wanted it. I always thought a West Sail 43 would be pretty cool, but I think something maybe a little faster might be kind of nice. I don't think I'd ever be able to go the catamaran route unless I got to a point where all I wanted to do was the East Coast and the Caribbean. Cats are really spacious and really nice for a lot of people, but boy, they're not, I don't know. I don't really like being offshore in them. We took one from Cape Town, South Africa to the Caribbean a long time ago, 2004. Brand new leopard calves, like 43 feet, and it's always downwind on that trip, but we had a little bit of upwinding and it was awful. Definitely not something I would want. There's 30 West Air on Rio Deuce for $49K. It's about there. Yeah, I mean, a West Sail 42 for 50 grand. It's probably got some serious issues. No, I don't know. You never know with boats. Like, sometimes people are just trying to get rid of them. Life circumstances change. Because remember, boats are like debt. There's no... if somebody gives you a free boat, they're actually giving you like debt. Because you have to immediately start putting money into a boat. Whether it's to store it, to have a buoy... to keep it from sinking, spend your time looking after it and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. Who knows? We have to see. I used to comb through Yacht World, looking at bigger boats and stuff. But, yeah, for now, I think that's probably a few years off still. And like I said, it's not like I'm going to sell this boat and be able to just buy another one. Like I need to financially get a little secure, which is, it's kind of also part of the problem where I keep spending all the money, keeping the boat up and improving things, and then I go out and I break it. And this last one was really bad. I had just replaced all the solar and all the wiring system. And that is all on the bottom of the Atlantic now. That sucks. Because those were nice solar panels. Oh, they're brand new. Thanks for the stream. Subscribed, of course. Oh, thank you, Luke. I appreciate that. Listening to your experience while I work on my boat. Oh, nice, dude. I wonder what kind of boat you've got there, Luke. It's always fun doing that. I do still enjoy, every once in a while I get on the old YouTube and peel through some of the other sailors out there that are getting boats and trying to give it a go and everything. And I don't know. I mean, I also know quite a few that are down here, like in the marina, that are on their first or second year with a boat after either selling their house or at least moving out and everything. And it's cool. I mean, it's an adventure. It's not for everybody, obviously. There's some hardships to it, but it's... I don't know. It's fun. It's definitely a lot of work, but I always try and remember that working on a boat is way better than having to go to 8-hour job and then work on a boat. So I get to be able to just do, some side gigs for other boats here in the marina. That keeps Sparrow in her slip, and then the rest of it's all podcasts and I think I got disconnected and then reconnected. Who knows? 38. That's nice. That's a good size. That gives you some serious room. I'll have to look that up. I wonder if let's try that. I could be my own Jamie here on the old. So what is that? 38 Andrews Westerly. Let's see. Buying a 38 Andrews Westerly. Wonder if this is going to be it. Whoa. Let's see. I wonder if that's the same. Yeah. 38 feet. Wow. That's pretty dope. That's got to be fast, man. Holy smokes. I can't even imagine how fast that is. Oh, boy, it's got a big keel. Mm-hmm. It's not a skag hunter. That's it. Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's a pretty slick old boat, man. I bet you could probably do about 7-8 knots upwind on that. Oh. I always wonder about that. I knew this guy down in the Caribbean when I was training for my trip that he had... It wasn't an open 40, and it wasn't like a mum 30. It was something in between, but he could get it on a plane, and it was in like the 30-foot range. And he used to go, and he'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna sail over to St. Martin from the BVI, and it's like, I don't know, 80, 90 miles or something. And he'd be like, yeah, it'll take me like 12 hours. Just thinking to myself, what? Oh my god! Like for me, it's double that easily. But he also had a lot of problems with the boat. It was always constantly breaking, and I think it cost him a lot of money to maintain it and stuff. But wow, that looks like a weapon, man. Glad you have a boat like that. That's pretty sweet. Oh wow, that is slick. Huh? Jealous. Well, you know, Almighty Sparrow's pretty good. She's quite a beast. Ah. Uh-oh. We've lost just about everybody now. I think that's pretty much it for this live stream. I may try and actually get to bed. Thank you, anybody and everybody, for chiming in on this one. I sort of lost the plot there when I started looking at boats, but oh man, all the best, and yeah, have a great last day of the year.